What's going on, everyone? So Jake Fisher had reported that the Los Angeles Lakers were interested in Brook Lopez, that he is one of their targets that they have kind of listed on their board. Did a whole video diving into that. They had him as well as Valanciunas are two targets to look out for a potential Lakers trade for the center position. Obviously, they need a center. Center is very important. But another guy that I would prefer that they target that doesn't really help the center position, not in the sense of what we need, but I would just love to have him, and I think he would be huge for this team, is Bobby Portis, right? Like, I'm not really a fan of Brook Lopez. He's 36 years old. He's making $23 million this year. Yes, it's expiring, but still, you have to go get $23 million in salary sent out, and the Bucks, their salary situation, they're not like a team that can take on a bunch of salary and stuff too. And then on top of that, you add in that like his production is just tanking, right? He's shooting 26% from 3-point range. Defensively, he's still there. I'm not a fan of Brook Lopez personally. I'd rather go get Valanciunas. He's half the cost, more efficient. Doesn't stretch the floor to the level of a Brook Lopez, but still can knock it down from the perimeter on occasion. I'd prefer to go get Valanciunas. It's half the cost, and then you could go make other trades, other moves. But if I'm the Lakers, I'm at least trying to see like what can you do to try to acquire Bobby Portis. So Bobby Portis, one, is on the right side of 30. He's 29 right now. On top of that, he's making $13 million this year. Little shy of that, but you got to remember, Lakers got to send out more money. So if they could go and get somebody like a Bobby Portis, and then he has a player option next season, which I believe he'd probably opt in, or he could opt out, and then maybe the Lakers could work out a new kind of longer term deal. I would love that. Talk about a 6'10", 7'2" wingspan, versatile forward that can essentially slot 3 through 5 for you on occasion. I think he would help bolster the bench. Lakers need bench just production, right? Like, hopefully Christian Wood, when he gets back, can kind of help in that regard, in that manner. You could argue if Christian Wood can kind of get back to being that like 17-6 guy, then you don't really have the need for a Bobby Portis as much as you would right now, right? But I still don't hate the idea of both of them. You can't have too much size and have two 6'10" versatile forwards that could play, again, 3 through 5. I just think that doesn't hurt at all, right? Like, I love the idea of having that. But to me, like Bobby Portis, he's cheap enough to be another piece. And supposedly the Milwaukee Bucks, they're a team that wants just guard depth. They're looking for guards. And the Lakers have several, right? Gabe Vincent is a player that was linked, per these reports, to the Milwaukee Bucks. Could you do something where, maybe you're sending out Gabe Vincent, right? And then maybe a third team's getting involved and they're taking like a Maxwell Lewis or like a Jalen Hood-Schifino, right? So that way, because you got to remember, like the cap situation for these teams is not, neither team can take on more salary. So if you're the Lakers and you're the Bucks, you'd have to find that third team. So maybe you'd have a team that like, hey, we'd love to kind of be the middleman, and instead of giving a second, it's like, here, just take one of our young guys, and the Lakers can also clear off salary and put themselves in a position to maybe bring in like a Quincy Olivari to fill in that guard position role. Now you have like D'Angelo Russell for right now coming off the bench with Christian Wood when he gets healthy and he gets right. Bobby Portis, hopefully you go pull off a move, ideally for like a Walker Kessler. If not, go get a Giannis Valanciunas. All of a sudden, we might be able to start piecing some stuff together here. Bobby Portis and his versatility on both sides of the basketball, right? He's not this like absolute all clamp, defensive player of the year type defender, but he is a versatile defender that can help. His scoring, his shooting, his ability to do a little bit of everything out on the basketball court. Also, he's a guy that has been linked to the Lakers in the past. Was year, maybe 2 now. It's been a while. Bobby Portis strongly considered going to Lakers, and there was even talks about the Lakers trading for him because that was his preferred destination. This was a while ago. Is that still a thing? Is that something that he's still interested in? I would imagine. I don't see why not. And maybe you could work something out to, like, hey, Hey, we'll give you like I said, Gabe Vincent, and maybe a team's willing. You have teams like the Nets that want supposedly Jalen Hood-Schifino. You got Utah that supposedly wants Jalen Hood-Schifino. Maybe you could even work out some 3-team deal to where maybe you're getting a Kessler, right? Maybe you're getting a Walker Kessler, and you're getting a Bobby Portis, right? Like that could be huge. And then working out some other moves, because obviously they'd still need other trades, still need other upgrades, but you still have like Rui, D'Angelo Russell, right? You still have Max Christie if you needed to, Jared Vanderbilt, but you still have basically all your trade pieces. To me, it just boils down to like what does it cost beyond just like a Gabe Vincent, right? Like, if they want a first for Bobby Portis, I don't think I'd go to a first for him. Maybe a swap. Maybe I'd give up a pick swap, right? Because Bobby Portis, he's not a guy that's going to raise this. He would be a great versatile piece to kind of give us some bench depth. It's kind of what I'm looking at Bobby Portis. Right? If you could get him for a couple seconds, like 2-3 seconds, like a Rui type deal, like what we had to give up to get Rui Hachimura. Right? If you could do something like that, we're giving up 3 seconds to get a Bobby Portis, and then giving them like a Gabe Vincent who supposedly they have some interest in. Cool, there you go. And then if, or at worst, you do a pick swap, right? So let's say Gabe Vincent and a pick swap for like a Bobby Portis. Sure, fine, here you go. Again, you'd have to find a third team, but there's several teams that I think would just, if you're giving us a young guy, sure, we'll just take him, right? Like if you're trying to unload a vet minimum guy or some guy that just doesn't make sense for one of these teams, then yeah, they're going to want assets, right? Like if you're trying to give us a Jackson Hayes, like we don't want or need Jackson Hayes. So like, yeah, we need something of value. But if it's like, hey, we'll just give you like a Maxwell Lewis, teams would be like, all right, like, hey, he's a young, versatile wing that has some athleticism. Maybe we can develop him and grow him. Worst case, we just let him go, right? Like, like something like that could make some interest and spark something for some of these teams. But you look at like the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers need a center. They could use some perimeter two-way guys, whether at the guard position or the wing position. But beyond that, Lakers really need some bench depth. I think that there's a genuine argument to try to work out some type of trade to get some bench depth here. Right? Like the Lakers bench, I mean, now that you have D'Angelo Russell coming off the bench, maybe that changes some stuff, obviously. I mean, he just gave you 18 in the first game. We'll see what he does, going forward. But, I mean, they're only averaging 20 a game. So D'Lo just literally gave you what the team is averaging the entire season thus far. So hopefully he can kind of offset some of that, so maybe it won't be as big of a need, so you can kind of maybe focus on upgrading the starters a little bit more. Again, Christian Wood getting back, I do think Christian Wood could, if you have like D'Lo and Wood, that gives you two guys that can get you 17 a night between the two of them. And then whatever Dalton Connect chips in, Max Christie, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, until you pull off some type of trade or something. Right? So the Lakers may end up being pretty decent from the bench. Not to the level, not like an elite level, but I mean, it can't be much worse. Lakers are 30th in bench scoring, right? It doesn't get worse than that, right? Like, so literally it's only up from here. So if D'Lo is coming off the bench and he's able to provide kind of that scoring and playmaking off the bench, and then you give us a Christian Wood getting back and healthy, and if he can kind of get right and he can get out there on the basketball court, he's a guy that's proven in the past to be a 17-6 guy off the bench for the Lakers, right? Like that's why I kind of like the idea. If you go get a Bobby Portis or something, right? Like now it's like, okay, now you got, like I said, a Wood, a Portis, a D'Lo. You got some real versatility out there. You got some real size, bunch of 6'10" guys. Doesn't hurt. I don't know. I really don't hate the idea, right, of just going and looking to get a Bobby Portis. Obviously, again, this is just kind of my thoughts because Brooklyn or the Bucks, they're a sinking ship. It looks like they're going to end up starting to sell at some point. Giannis is already frustrated. I will be shocked if Giannis is on this team, the Bucks team, this time next season. I think he might ride the season out, but I think by the offseason, I think he's gone. I think that they'll end up blowing this thing up, tearing this thing down. So, maybe you could get some pieces, especially if they're like not even a play-in team. I don't think that they're just going to unload Bobby Portis anytime soon, but around the trade deadline, he may end up becoming available. And if he is, I think you look to go get him. I think you at least make an attempt, try to work something out to go land yourself a Bobby Portis, because Lakers could use that versatility, defense, just the his attitude out there on the basketball court and the way he plays the game. I'm a big fan of Bobby Portis, and I think he would do wonders for this Lakers team and this Lakers squad. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Bobby Portis? Do you think, yes, go get Bobby Portis? Do you like the idea of Brook Lopez? Do you think, like, get both? Or do you think, like, nah, like, stay away from Brook Lopez? Because, again, he's 36. His production's going down the drain. I'm just not really a fan of him. A couple years ago, sure. But at this point, I just, could a change of scenery change things for Brook Lopez? Absolutely. Right? You go from Milwaukee, that's just like a dumpster fire right now, to the Lakers. Maybe things kind of turn around. You see it all the time. Like, players go from one place to another. All of a sudden, they figure some stuff out, work some stuff out. Sure. But I'd personally prefer that the Lakers stay away from him. I just think go after Bobby Portis. If you can get a Bobby Portis, even like a Gary Trent. I know Gary Trent hasn't been like super stellar for them, but also I don't think he's good in the role that they're utilizing him in. I think he's best kind of in that backup too, or like playing the Cam Reddish or the Max Christie role. Right? I think he'd be great slotted in that role. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.